Hi all, in this video you will be just looking at some important questions, or rather it's a combination of important questions for chapter 1 lesson, the last 2 lessons, and chapter 2 few lessons. So if you have revised or if you have watched the previous videos, definitely you will have an idea what the lessons are going to be about. So again, before I start, I have to tell you this: always be positive. Think that the thing which you're doing is easy, so that will definitely result in knowing that you can do it, because if you think something negative, that's not going to help you in any way. Definitely your brain will let you down. So once you start doing the thing which you can do, that means you will love the thing which you're doing. So also, definitely for math, I keep saying this at the end of every video: keep practicing, because daily practice is very important for math, so that you will not forget what you learn daily if you practice daily. So keep it a habit to practice on a daily basis, at least 5 questions daily, so that you will keep remembering and your mind will be refreshed about the things which you have learned. So let's get started. So these are the chapter 1 concepts which you are going to see. That's area and perimeter of figures, distance and midpoint formula. Now in chapter 2, we have biconditional statements, using deductive reasoning to verify conjectures, biconditional statements and definitions, and algebraic reasoning. Now if you think you have forgotten any of these, the link is there above. You can click and watch that video, because the detailed explanations are given in that video. As you know, this is not a detailed video explanation video, rather it's just a quick revision video for you, right? So as usual, grab some papers and a pencil, pause the video here, grab some papers and a pencil, and come back. So when you get ready, you can get started. So let's get started. So the first question for you is: find the area of a rectangle with a given length of 5 centimeter and width of 3 centimeter. So they want you to find the area of a rectangle with length of 5 and width of 3. So the options for you are 8 centimeter, that's the area is 8 centimeter, 15 centimeter, 16 centimeter, and 13 centimeter square or square centimeters. So your timer starts now. You've got about 10 seconds more. Well, your time is up. So you didn't need much time for this question, because they have already given you the length and the width of the rectangle. You just have to use that in the formula. So the correct answer for this is the second option, which is 15 square centimeter. Well, if you got that, that's a good job. So let's just quickly review what's the formula for area of a rectangle. So the formula for area of a rectangle is LW, which means length multiplied by the width. So according to the question given, 5 is the length and 3 is the width, so which is 5 multiplied 3 is 15. Now that we have discussed about the area, we should not move without discussing about the perimeter of a rectangle. So the formula for perimeter of a rectangle is 2L plus 2W. Now definitely you should have a sheet which all these formulas are written, so that it will be a quick review for you whenever you need them. So 2L plus 2W, which means 2 multiplied by 5, which is the length, multiplied by 2, it should be plus, and 2 multiplied by 3. So 2 5s will give you a 10, and plus 2 3s will give you a 6. So 10 plus 6 is going to be 16 centimeter. Now keep in mind, area will be written in square units, whereas perimeter will only be written with a single unit. So this is the formula, and this is how you calculate the perimeter of a rectangle when the length and the width are given. Right, so let's move to the next question. Here's the question for you. Find the area of the given triangle. Okay, so this is the triangle given. So the options for you are, you have to find the area for this triangle. Okay, so the options for you are 30, 60, 17, 18. So your time starts now. got 10 seconds more. Well, your time's up. Now, if you think the time for you was not enough, do pause the video, solve the question, and then you can move on with checking the answer. Right, so the correct answer for this question is going to be 30. How did we get 30? Let's see. Well, if you've got 30, that's a clap for you. Right. So the formula for area of a rectangle or area of a triangle is half BH, which means half multiplied by the base. Always the down part becomes the base. So that's 12. Half multiplied by 12 and the height. This is the height of the triangle. Always the vertical length, vertical standing line is going to show you the height of a triangle, no matter what kind of triangle is given to you. So this is a right triangle, but sometimes they will give you other types of triangles, but the vertical line which shows the from up to down is called as the height. So according to this figure, the height is going to be 5. Always it will be from top to the bottom. So this is the height. So this is going to be half multiplied by 12. So half of 12 is 6. 6 multiplied by 5 is going to be 13. So the answer is going to be 30. Now what is this to do with us? Nothing. That has nothing to do with the area, because for the area we will only take the base and the height. Okay, now that we have discussed about the area of the triangle, let's look at the perimeter of a triangle. The formula for finding the perimeter is a plus b plus c, which means you're going to add all the numbers which are around the triangle, because perimeter means the distance around a figure. So the distance around a figure, you're going to add them. So you can add them in any order, not necessarily you need to say this is A, this is B, no. Because however you add the answer, you're going to get is the same. So here we are just going to add 5 plus 12, that's 17. 17 plus 13 is going to give you a 30. Now this is by chance that both of them are 30, but it's not always like that, because mostly the perimeter and area will be different depending on the measurements. This is just by luck that both of them are the same, right? So you need to remember the formula of area of a rectangle, of a triangle, that's half BH, and the perimeter is going to be A plus B plus C. Right, so let's move on to the next question. So the next question for you is, find the perimeter of a square. So you have to find the perimeter of this square. So the options for you are 12 square feet, 24 square feet, 36 square feet, and 6 square feet. And your time starts now. So your time is up, almost. Yes, it's up. So the correct answer for this question is 36 square feet. Well, there was a mistake, yes. The correct answer for this question was 24 square feet, not 36, because there's a difference between 36 and 24. So the correct answer for this question was 24 square feet. Right, now let's see. If you've got 24 square feet, that's great job. So let's see, how did we get 24? Now the formula for perimeter of a square is 4s, which means 4 multiplied by the side, any one side. So here the speciality of a square is that all the sides are equal. So we could take any one side, that's 6 feet, and we multiply that with 4. Or you can even add all the distance around the figure, so that becomes 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, which is the 24 feet. Now that we have discussed about the perimeter, we should not move on without discussing about the area of a square. So the area of a square, the formula is s square, which means side multiplied by side. So we have to get the side, the length of one side, that's 6. So 6 square, that's going to give us, square means 6 multiplied 6, not 6 multiplied by 2. It is 6 multiplied by 6, which is going to give us 36 square feet. So there is a difference between the area and the perimeter. The perimeter is 4 multiplied by the length of any one side, but area is going to be length, side multiplied by side. So this is how you find perimeter and area of a square. Right, let's move on with the next question. So the next question is find the diameter of the circle. So they have given you a circle. Now I'm not going to tell you what's given. You need to know what are these parts which are given. So the answers for you are 18 centimeter, 9 centimeter, 4.5 centimeter, and 6 centimeter. And your timer has started. You've got 10 seconds more, 5 more, and your time is. So the correct answer for this question is 18 centimeter. Why did we say that it is 18 centimeter? Well, you can see this is the circle. Okay, so the radius is from the center of the circle to any one side of the circle. So what's given for us is the radius from the center to any one side of the circle. But the diameter is 2 times the radius, because diameter means from one corner of the circle to the other. Radius is half of diameter. So if the radius is 9, diameter is going to be 9 plus 9, because one from here to here it's 9. So similarly from here to here it's going to be 9. So 9 plus 9, or you multiply 2 by 9, because radius, diameter is 2 times the radius. So you need to keep this in mind. Diameter is equal to 2 multiplied by the radius. So that's how we got the answer as 18. And the distance around the circle is called as the circumference. So the formula for area of a circle is A equals pi r square, and the formula for circumference is 2 pi r, whereas the value of the pi will be given to you whether you have to use as 22/7 or 3.14. It depends totally on the question. Right, so let's move on to the here is the formulas. So if this is the radius, which is same like this, so the circumference is going to be 2 pi r, and the area is going to be pi r square. So these formulas are very important. So always, as I say, it's better you keep a notebook or any kind of pad just separately for math, so that all your formulas and all the important notes and the tips which given during the videos can be written and collected in one place, so that before a quiz or an exam you can just flip through them and get the important points. Right, so let's move on to the next question. Now the next question is, so here comes the next question for you. That's what are the coordinates of the midpoint of KL, segment KL, with endpoints K, -2, 1, and L, 5, 4. So what are the coordinates of the midpoint? You need to find the midpoint, and the options for you are 3, -2, 1.5, -2.5, -2.55, and 1.5, 2.5. And your time starts now. If you think the time is not enough, do pause the video here and you can do it. Then you can check on the answers. Okay, your time is up, but I know you will take a bit longer than this timer, so you can definitely pause and then you can do the question. Well, if you have solved it, the correct answer is going to be 1.5, 2.5. How did we get 1.5, 2.5? Now, definitely to find the midpoint, we need to use the midpoint formula. So the midpoint formula, well, if you have got the answer right, great job. So let's see what's the midpoint formula. The midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So all this, as I have also explained during the video lesson, that you have to name these coordinates so that you will not get confused. So this is going to be x1, y1, x2, y2, because if you name them, you will not get confused. Okay, so once you've named them, put them in the formula. So x1 is going to be -2 plus x2, that's 5. So -2 plus 5 divided by 2, because you're finding the midpoint. So to find the middle of something, definitely we need to divide it by 2. Next is 1 plus 4, that's x y1 plus y2. So 1 plus 4 divided by 2, that will give you 3 over 2, because negative 2 plus 5 will give you a 3 divided by 2. 1 plus 5 is going to give you 1 plus 4 is going to give you 5. So 3 divided by 2 is going to be 1.5, and 5 divided by 2 is going to be 2.5. So the midpoint of this segment KL is going to be at 1.5 and 2.5. This is how you get the midpoint using the midpoint formula. Right. So let's move on to the next question. So the next question for you is, what is the conclusion of the given statement based on? So a statement will be given for you. You need to decide the conclusion of this will be based on what. Right. So the statement is, it's been raining the last few days, so it may rain the next few days too. Read it well. It's been raining the last few days, so it may rain the next few days too. So the options for you are, this is inductive reasoning because it's based on pattern observation, a pattern observation. Or is it deductive reasoning because it's based on logical conclusion? Or is it that there's no conclusion, or it's a myth? It's a myth that if it rained in the last few days, that it will rain the next few days too. So you have to think here. So your timer, I will start the timer because the timer is more than enough to think. Got 10 seconds more to think. Okay, your time is up. So that means the correct answer for this question is going to be the first one, which is inductive reasoning. Why did we say this is inductive reasoning? Read the sentence again, read the statement again. It's been raining the last few days, so it may rain the next few days too. Now, inductive reasoning is definitely based on patterns. So observation of patterns means if something has been happening continuously, so they predict that may happen. But inductive reasoning is not always true. So this is based on inductive reasoning because they're saying because it was raining the last few days, it will rain the next few days. But if it cannot happen too, so this may happen or may not happen. It cannot be deductive reasoning because deductive reasoning is completely based on logic and facts and information. So if they say the weather report says that according to this temperature there will be rain, yes, that is logical reasoning, or that's a study which has been done on the weather, right? So then we could say that's deductive reasoning. But here, just because it was raining the last few days, the next few days may rain, it may not rain. So it is a pattern. They are just concluding. So for this reason, it's going to be inductive reasoning. So if you decide something will happen based on something because it's been happening before, that's called inductive reasoning. So you have to be careful when you are deciding between inductive reasoning and deductive reasoning. So no conclusion is impossible because everything which happens has a conclusion. So anything which is happening has a conclusion. It's a myth. No, it cannot be a myth. Myth is something which has been told by the olden days people that according to them which will happen. But now because we use deductive reasoning mostly, we don't believe in all these things, right? So let's move on to the next question. Oh, and you get a gold star for giving the correct answer. So let's move to the next question, which is a counter example for the biconditional. Which is a counter example means you have to prove that the statement is wrong. An angle is acute if the angle measure is 60 degrees. So you know what if stands for. You can translate it as an angle is acute if and only if. So an angle is acute if and only if the angle measure is 60 degrees. So the options for you are, you have to find the counterexample, means to prove that the statement is wrong. Measure of an angle is 120 degrees. Measure of an angle is 180 degrees. Measure of the angle is 110 degrees. Or the measure of the angle is 45 degrees. So your time starts now. What just happened? Okay, so there is no timer for this question because I have forgotten to add the time. So I think really we can discuss this answer. So the correct answer for this question is going to be measure of angle is going to be 45 degrees. Means if you read the sentence again, an angle is acute if and only if the angle measure is 60 degrees. Is that true? Is it that only if the angle measure is 60 degrees it's acute? Acute? No. If it is 30 also it's acute. If it is 45 also it's acute. If it is even 80 degrees it's an acute angle. But here the counter examples are 120 degrees. Now 120 degrees angle is a obtuse angle, so it has nothing to do with acute. How about 180 degrees? That's a straight angle. It also has nothing to do with acute. How about 110? Again, it's an obtuse angle, nothing to do as well with acute. So the only counter example we have here is the measure of angle is 45 degrees. So if the measure of angle is 45 degrees, then it is also an acute angle, right? So let's move to the next question. What is the inverse of if I'm hiking the Grand Canyon, then I'm in Arizona? What is the inverse? It's the opposite. If I'm hiking the Grand Canyon, then I'm in Arizona. So the options for you are if I'm not hiking the Grand Canyon, then I'm not in Arizona. The second one is if I'm not hiking the Grand Canyon, then I am in Arizona. Next one is if I'm not in Arizona, then I'm hiking the Grand Canyon. If I'm in Arizona, then I'm hiking the Grand Canyon. So, what do you think is the inverse of this statement? So, your time starts now. So, your 5 seconds for 3, 2, 1, and your time is up. So, let's look at the correct answer. The correct answer is the first option, which is if I'm not hiking the Grand Canyon, then I am not in Arizona. Now, what's the inverse? Inverse means you're just going to add the words not in both the sentence parts. Okay, so if I'm hiking means it becomes if I'm not hiking. Then I'm in Arizona becomes I'm not in Arizona. This is as simple how inverse sentences are. So just add the words not to both the parts of the sentence, it becomes an inverse sentence. Now you cannot choose this because it says if I'm not hiking the Grand Canyon, then I am in Arizona. So there is no, the word not is not here. The word not is not here, correct? So also this one, if I'm not in Arizona, this has flipped the sentence. Well, usually in inverse, we don't flip the sentence. From the same sentence, we just add the words not. That's all in both the parts, right? So if you have done that correct, I think you did an awesome job. Okay, so let's move on with the next question. Right, the next question is identify the hypothesis and conclusion of if a polygon has 6 sides, then it's a hexagon. So you just have to say which is the hypothesis and the conclusion. So the option is hypothesis is a polygon has 6 sides, and the conclusion is it's a hexagon, or is it hypothesis is a polygon is a hexagon and the conclusion is it has 6 sides? Or is it that hypothesis a polygon has 6 sides, conclusion is it's not a hexagon? Or is it that hypothesis a polygon has 4 sides and the conclusion is it's a hexagon? Well, take your time, read the question well. I will start the timer. If you think the time is not enough for you, you can definitely pause the video, read the question over and over again and answer it. So your time has already started. Okay, so your time's up. Let's see what the correct answer is. The correct answer was the first option. So identifying hypothesis and conclusion is a very easy part because you just have to read the first part of the sentence and remove the word if and say a polygon has 6 sides become the hypothesis, because hypothesis means something which may happen, which can happen. So it starts with the word if. Always hypothesis starts with the word if. So if a polygon has 6 sides, so hypothesis is a polygon has 6 sides. And then It's a hexagon. It's a hexagon is the conclusion. So what if a polygon has 6 sides? It's a hexagon. Nothing you will do when you are thinking or when you are deriving the hypothesis and conclusion. Hypothesis always follows the word if, whether it's in the middle or it's at the front of a sentence, in the beginning of a sentence. So if there is the word if, means the hypothesis follows it. So what if that happens? Then it's a hexagon. So this is the conclusion. Right. So, well, that's a good job if you have found out the answer. Right. So let's move on and check the next question. Write the justification for the given step. So they have given a step for you, you have to write the justification. So to know the justification, definitely you need to know all the properties which you have learned previously. That's about segment addition postulate, that's about angle addition postulate, and also the definition of angle, definition of segments, so congruent segments, all these things. So this is the picture given for you. You can see that there is a segment AB and BC, and the distance between them are equal because B is the midpoint. So they have given you a statement as AB equals BC. So which of these are you going to say is the justification for this step? Why is AB equal BC? So the first option for you is it because of segment addition postulate, or is it because of definition of congruent segments, or angle addition postulate, or is it substitution property of equality? So your time starts now. You've got 10 seconds more. 5, 2, 1, and your time is up. Okay, so the correct answer for this question is definition of congruent segment. I do not know why this clock is not moving away. Okay, so now that the clock has moved away, the correct answer is more clear for us. That's the definition of congruent segments. Now, why did we say this is definition of congruent segments? You can see that we are not adding any segments here. If they would have said AB plus BC equals AC, that becomes segment addition postulate because we're adding the segments. But here simply they said it's AB equals BC. Why did they say AB is equal to BC? Because they are congruent. Congruent means equal. So that means it is going to be definition of congruent segments. If they would have, I am repeating again, if they would have said AB plus BC equals AC, then it becomes segment addition postulate. Here they did not add any segments. They just gave the information AB equals BC. So why is AB equal to BC? Because of the definition of congruent segments. It cannot be angle addition postulate because they're not adding any angles here. And neither it is substitution property because they did not replace any numbers here. Now if they would have written in place of AB, if they write 5x minus 6 equals 2x, then that becomes substitution property of equality because they're replacing. But here nothing happened. They only said AB equals BC, which is the definition of congruent segments, which means two segments are equal. Well, if you've got the answer right, bravo, that's well done. So let's move on with the next question. Okay, before the question, something wrong with the slide now. Okay, so the next question is which statement is true by the reflexive property of congruence? So this is talking about the reflexive property of congruence. You need to remember what is reflexive property, you need to know what is symmetric property, as well as you need to know what is transitive property. So if you know what is reflexive property, I did explain in the video also during the homework explanation what is reflexive property. So let's see. AC equals AC, AC equals BC, AC is congruent to AC, or AC is congruent to BE, which is congruent to DF. So your time starts now. You've got 10 seconds more to think. 5 seconds more. Okay, your time is up. Right, so let's look at the correct answer. The correct answer for this question is AC is congruent to AC. Now, if you would read the question very carefully, that says reflexive property of congruence. They did not say reflexive property of equality. If they say reflexive property of equality, that is AC equals AC because there is equal sign. But here they have said reflexive property of congruence. So definitely it needs to be with the congruent sign. You have to be very careful. Do not just read reflexive property and choose AC equals AC. Reflexive means the same thing. 2 equals 2. A equals A. But that's for reflexive property of equality. But here it specifically mentions reflexive property of congruence, which means you have to choose the one with the congruent sign. So keep in mind to read the question very carefully. Well, that's many thumbs up for you. I think with that, you would have got an idea how the questions will be formed depending on the lessons. So that was all for the video. So this is a yummy dessert for you after doing so much of hard work. I think everyone needs this break, right? So just keep this dessert in mind, and yes, hopefully everything will go perfect. The only thing I would like to remind you is revise the formulas and keep in mind the important tips which I have given you, the important information which I have given you, and just keep this dessert in mind till we meet again. So till we meet again, keep practicing and do not forget to like the video.